time. Rewind. This is Dope Nostalgia.
I'm so excited because Andrew Scott and Joe Johnson are back here. Dope Nostalgia. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing really good. Nice to be here.
Me too. Very nice. Thank you.
So this is the first time we're doing an episode in the history of this show where I've done absolutely no research.
Really?
You're flying by the seat of your pants.
All right.
I am. And, but I do have the lovely Google machine next to me.
Mm-hmm.
If it requires that. So I know that we've been wanting to talk about doing this episode for a long time. Mm-hmm. It's the 27 Club, right?
The 27 Club. Yeah. Yes. Fascinating little bit of not just 90s nostalgia, but like music culture and like conspiracy theories and just all kinds of, it's a rich, frothy broth of interesting things.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Better than a paste. I like it. Frothy broth. Good. All right. Well, should I just let you lead the way then?
Well, I was going to ask about this. You guys both have Blue Jays hats on. Do we want to just do that first to get it out of the way, to address the elephant in the room, as it were?
This is very important right now.
Mm-hmm. It's some CanCon right here. It's fantastic.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, Joe.
All right. So, is it going to spoil? It's not going to spoil anything, is it? If I talk about Nirvana a little bit, it's so.
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. It's so.
That's okay.
It's so loosely. I just threw it in there to like make some kind of connection in case I needed to, just because. So. Nirvana's Nevermind, released in late September 1991, began a slow build that burned down the entire house by January 92. Fueled by Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nevermind toppled Michael Jackson's Dangerous and remained on Billboard 200 for nearly 2 years. A literal changing of the guards. My topic today follows a nearly identical path, a slow build in 1991 to being absolutely on fire by late 1992 and taking that momentum all the way into 93. Yes, today I'm talking about the sports dynasty that defined the early 90s in Canada, the Toronto Blue Jays, the 1992 and 1993 back-to-back World Series champs. All right, so let's set the scene here. 1992, you're sitting down on your beautifully upholstered couch. Everybody knows the pattern I'm talking about. Watching our wood panel TV, wearing our Zubaz pants, and maybe sipping a Crystal Pepsi. For the first time ever, a Major League Baseball team from outside the United States wins the World Series, and it is Canada's team, the Toronto Blue Jays, led by manager Cito Gaston, going toe-to-toe with the Atlanta Braves and coming out on top in 6 games. Joe Carter, Roberto Alomar, Devin White, John Olerud, Dave Winfield, Todd Stottlemyre. The names were legendary, and the Sky Dome, it wasn't just a ballpark. It was the future. Retractable roof, hotel in the outfield, sci-fi level cool in 1992. This was a moment that made every Canadian city from Vancouver to St. John's stand up and cheer. The Jays weren't just Toronto's team anymore. They belonged to everyone. Now, let's rewind that mental mixtape. In 1992, End of the Road by Boyz II Men was ruling the charts, Wayne's World was rocking theaters, and the Nirvana revolution was changing radio forever. And in Canada, we had the Tragically Hip's Fully Completely spinning on Sony's Shockwave cassette player with the XBS extra bass system on repeat. Much music in its prime, and Degrassi was teaching us life lessons between commercials for Pizza Pops, invented in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So, nice. When that final out dropped and the Jays were champs, the victory wasn't just athletic, it was emotional. It was like the world was finally paying attention to what Canada had to offer. And then came 1993. Because once just wasn't quite enough. The Jays stormed through another season, this time facing the Philadelphia Phillies. You remember them, wild hair, mullets, and those iconic red pinstripes. I just want to just double back for 1 second to the Stottlemyre incident. While pitching for the Blue Jays in Game 4, Todd Stottlemyre Good name, right? Game 4.
That's an amazing name.
Game 4 of the 93 World Series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Stottlemyre tried to go from first to third on a single by Roberto Alomar. But as a pitcher, his base running skills indicated inexperience. He hesitated between second and third, and the attempt resulted in him being thrown out while sliding headfirst into third base, scraping his chin in the process. That prompted Ed Rendell, then mayor of Philadelphia, to ridicule Stottlemyre, while also adding that even he could hit his pitches. After Stottlemyre and his teammates won the series, Stottlemyre responded to the comment at the ensuing victory rally, expressing his displeasure with the mayor by declaring, "You can kiss my ass." And then, the moment, bottom of the ninth, game 6, Toronto's down by 1, Joe Carter steps up to the plate. Mitch Williams throws, and Carter sends it over the left field wall. This wasn't just a walk-off home run. That was a walk-off to the heart. Every Canadian living in Canada, in every single living room, erupted. Every bar went wild. Neighbors hugged in the streets. The Jays had done it again. Back-to-back World Series champs. And let's not forget, the 93 Jays weren't just great players. They were characters. Roberto Alomar's flair, Paul Molitor's calm focus, also an amazing name. John Olerud.
I love that name.
John Olerud's batting helmet in the field.
His batting helmet.
Iconic.
Oh, I loved it.
Just so if anyone doesn't know, it was due to a brain aneurysm he had that had occurred in 1989 and the subsequent surgery. So the doctors recommended he wear it, just so you know. Ricky Henderson, who, I mean, people forget, Ricky Henderson was a J in 93, leadoff hitting and his intimidation factor of stealing bases, even at the age of 34. And Cito Gaston, the first black manager to win a World Series twice. It was pure baseball magic, and it was ours. Now, looking back, it was a national moment. One of those times when every Canadian, no matter where they lived, felt like they were part of something big. The Jays gave us a taste of unity, a taste of glory. From kids in Saskatoon wearing Alomar jerseys, to parents in Nova Scotia keeping score with their morning coffee, to fans in Calgary setting their VCRs to record the game, we were all part of that win. And it mattered, because back then, Canada was often the underdog. We're going to come back to that in a second. The polite neighbor to the south, but in those years, we owned the diamond. And for a moment, under that Sky Dome roof, the entire country believed in something beautiful, that Canada could take on the world and win. So, here's to those early 90s glory days. To Joe Carter's grin, Alomar's swagger, and to the millions of fans who stayed up late to watch history. The Toronto Blue Jays didn't just win back-to-back championships, they won our hearts. And if you close your eyes, you can still hear it. The crack of that bat, the crowd going wild, and Tom Cheek's voice echoing through the ages. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. And now, here we are, 3 decades later, and the story is still being written. Because as we head into the 2025 World Series, it is deja vu all over again. The Toronto Blue Jays are back, ready to face the powerhouse LA Dodgers, and a whole new generation of fans is feeling that same electric pride that pulsed through Canada in 92 and 93 from coast to coast. People are dusting off their jerseys, gathering around TVs, and believing once more, this isn't just a baseball team. It's a reflection of who we are, resilient, passionate, hardworking, and quietly determined to make the world take notice. So, whether you're in the center of the universe, Toronto, a farmhouse in Saskatchewan, or a dorm in Halifax, remember, we've done it before, and we can do it again. Heading into this series, Canada, Toronto, the Blue Jays are considered the underdog. Don't listen to the haters. We've got this. Here is to the 2025 Blue Jays, carrying the torch, chasing the dream, and reminding us all that Canada's game can be baseball too. Hashtag want it all. Thank you very much.
Woo! Thank you.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to
I
that.
am going to say that the Blue Jays have been, as fans, I mean, I know this is 32 years in the making, and I just want to say for the record, the last time the Jays won the World Series, I was 8 years old. My daughter, Remy, she stayed up late. She actually got up, and Loxley got up too. We were sitting on the couch watching Game 7 when the Jays won and go to get into the World Series. And I looked over at her, and I was like, the last time the Jays won the World Series, I was 8 years old. You are 8 years old right now. Could this be something that happens in real life, as Bluey would say? I guess we'll find out. So, as Jays fans, we've kind of been spoiled, not because we win it a lot, but we've got some of the most iconic moments in Major League Baseball history. Joe Carter's walk-off home run, which we've already talked about, to win the World Series. We've got Jose Bautista's bat flip, Edwin Encarnacion's parrot walk. I love that era of the Blue Jays, by the way. And we just received the Springer dinger in Game 7 to help the Jays win the game. Like, I don't know if it gets any better than that. And to close off, one of my favorite memories, because I was very young, but I remember my parents going down to Minnesota to watch a couple Major League Baseball teams games while we were living in Manitoba. And they would go down there and watch the Jays games. They get tickets for the Jays. And this was post World Series wins, but I got like I still have a Joe Carter photograph that they took while he was standing in the batter's box because they were that close. And it's just, it's not signed or anything, but it's a treasured piece of my sports memorabilia. And that one's, it holds a special place in my heart because Joe Carter is Joe Carter. So thoughts?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That Joe Carter home run was like right out of a movie. Like it was one of the most incredible, like in real life moments. Like, you know, my mom and dad, we were watching the game together. Everybody's jumping up and down and yelling. And it was like, what? Like, it was just a magical moment. Like, it was just so exciting. And the look on that guy's face, like we can all play it in our heads. We've all seen it a million times. And, he's just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And I get like, I've been watching all the Jays games and just like that George Springer moment when he hit that home run. I mean, and we watched his at-bats leading up to that game after that knee injury, like, cause he took that foul ball off the knee. And like, I don't know if there's any of his kneecap left, but he honestly, like, but he crushed that ball, and the way he was running the base, that jump, you could see there's a still image. He's like jumping in the air and just like, like, you know, big fist bump, like, and the crowd is it's another moment. And it feels, you know, like we don't know what's going to happen, but like, holy smokes, this is close, right?
Even if, and I'm not saying this in any kind of negative, cynical way, making the World Series is incredible. And this has to be pointed out. It's got to be Trump's favorite teams, right? You've got a team from California, his favorite state,
absolutely,
right? And a team from, and a foreign country, which is like his favorite thing in the world when like a foreign country takes over something.
Yeah, China.
So it's like, in a way,
it's not
it's
China.
Like win-win. Yeah, it's not China.
It's not China.
But it's just going to fill his little muffin heart full of glee. However it goes, he's going to be like, yay, California, my favorite state, or yay, foreign countries. I love people from other places. Like,
I'm sure whichever team wins, they will absolutely get that invite to the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And hopefully when we win, he's not holding like that football thing with all the nuclear codes. That, like, you know what I mean? It's like just in case he's in a really bad mood. And anywho.
Oh my. Okay, yeah. When they first won the World Series in '92, I was probably 11. I'm guessing, but it was like I didn't really know what was going on because I didn't know anything about baseball, but I knew it was exciting, and everybody was happy.
Yes,
and everybody was freaking out and so happy. And then I started watching it too because I just wanted to be part of the excitement. You know?
It was an amazing time to be like everybody was on board, which is funny because a lot of people might not realize that. I think for the most part, Canadians are like, we all seem to love the Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. And we all seem to not have the same amount of affection for the Maple Leafs. And it's like, it's weird that it's the same city.
Like gross.
Because people are like,
it's because they're our only Canadian
when
team.
Vladimir Guerrero was wearing that Leafs jersey into Game 7, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like the Leafs in Game 7, that's a connotation you do not need. Yeah, like put that thing away.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that he burned it once he got inside, like away from the cameras. He was like, oh, that was just for the fans. And
It's because they're our only Canadian team in Major League Baseball.
I don't know when the Expos left, but
yeah,
we had the Expos until late 90s.
I can't remember the year they left.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they become another team? were they an expansion team somewhere else, like they do in hockey?
That could be.
Hmm.
Their last game was in
yes.
2004.
2004, really?
Which is much later than I expected. There is for anybody interested. I haven't watched it yet, but I am going to. It's on my list. There is a Montreal Expos documentary on Netflix right now.
Yes.
Like who killed the Expos or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. Yeah, who killed the Montreal Expos? Very good. Thanks, Google. And Andrew.
Who killed the Spos?
Oh yeah,
I don't know if that was a regional thing. Yeah, that was what my dad always called them. He's like, oh, the Spos.
Some of our international listeners might not understand this too, and that's that in general, the rest of Canada, especially us in Western Canada, we aren't the greatest fans of Toronto as a city. Like
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Because they are kind of like the center. They think they're the center of the universe, and
TSN, the Toronto Sports Network.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is when Jason Strudwick from Edmonton, he's an ex-Oiler, but he does a bunch of media stuff now. When he goes on TSN and he just rips on the Leafs, and he gets so much hate, and he just sits there. He's like, "This is the best," and he just relishes the moment because anytime he can trash the Leafs, he takes it. It's so good. They keep inviting him back though, like.
But to the rest of the world, when they think about Canada, for some reason, Toronto pops up first, and they cherish Toronto. Yeah. So, hey, we're out here too, guys.
Yeah, totally. I spent a lot of time in Toronto as a kid, and I get it, but like totally. It's not. There's other cities here. There's not just Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto, right? There's like.
I never really thought about Alberta having like maple leaves, like maple trees. But I was outside today in the fall, and then I saw one of these.
Oh,
it's a sign.
Yeah, there's a maple leaf in my hand, a real one. So I picked it up off the ground and went, yeah, it's a sign.
If you want that to be really lucky, you're going to have to roll it up and smoke
it. I don't know where the actual tree is. I better find it. It's obviously very close to me. Anyway.
Just make sure it's not poison.
Yeah.
Nope, smoke it first, and then you'll find it.
Yeah. Do that first, and then, yeah,
you'll be okay.
That was amazing, Joe. Thank you for doing that presentation.
That was, I
had to do something. I had to get that out there.
It's beautiful, man. I'm so excited. Like, I only get into baseball when the Jays are in the World Series, so it's been, however long it's been.
Well, the regular season is such a grind. Like, it's hard, like, unless it's hard to get to that point because like you can't watch all the games. Like I would much prefer watching hockey for the most part, but playoff baseball is playoff baseball. Like it's just.
I'm actually finding it very interesting to watch.
It's a different game in playoff time, and it's incredible to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, are we
all right
geared for this?
So yeah, we're splitting the show into two segments today. Of course, we had a lovely tribute to the Leafs or the Leafs.
Boo!
Lovely
Where's the
tribute
button?
to the Jays.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Not that I wouldn't, if they won the Stanley Cup, yay. A
I'd be
Canadian
happy
team
for
gets
them.
it. Yeah,
I'd
that'd
be
be
happy
great.
for them.
No,
it's not going to happen in my lifetime, but I just, yeah.
I
would still not do it.
Yeah.
I would still feel hate in my heart.
And the other topic today, of course, the 27 Club. Now, this is a 90s podcast, but there has been so many notable deaths of people at the age of 27 throughout the decades. So I'm very interested to see what Andrew's bringing to the table today.
It's truly wild, and thank you again for letting me indulge in this. Like, it's just been wild. And this goes from basically 1860 until right up until the most recent one, I think was 2017 that we'll talk about. So it's it's an ongoing thing. But the 90s, as Joe kind of alluded to earlier, there is a connection there, and that's when we'll talk a little bit about why it got so intense in the 90s. But yeah, the 27 Club, this is a tragic, sparkly rock and roll coincidence. Now, okay, let me just make sure
Ooh, I gave you the share screen.
oh, thank you for letting me share. That's very nice of you. Okay, Joe used to sing me a little song about that, which about how sharing is caring.
Tis.
Um, yeah, the 27 Club, a tragic, sparkly rock and roll coincidence. Now, clubs, you guys, I hope we can all agree on this. Clubs are a lot of fun, unless they're being used on baby seals.
Oh,
However, there's one club in music history that nobody wants a lifetime membership in, and that's the infamous 27 Club. This sad and tragic collection of brilliant artists who, for reasons both mysterious and totally self-inflicted, left this world at the tender age of 27 or really close. I've got a couple of exceptions. There's no membership fees. There's no application form. Just raw talent, a wild life, and a performance without an encore. Thankfully, the three of us are past the post on this club. However, there is another one that might still claim us. I don't know if you guys know this or not. And you might be able to feel those icy fingers of doom creeping up your spine and towards your neck. Now, the early members of this are, I guess you could say, it sort of starts with, there was this Brazilian musician. His name was Alexander Levy. I'm no doubt pronouncing that wrong, and I apologize for all of the names that I'm going to say in this.
sorry.
So
Eugene.
1864 to 1992, he's listed as the first entry. But most agree that it begat, what a great word that is, unofficially with Robert Johnson, who I believe is like an ancestor of Joe's.
That's true.
Are you related to all famous Johnsons?
Every single one.
Robert.
That's why I married an Italian. Yeah. Because otherwise I'm related to everybody. It's gross.
You're related to everybody.
Yeah. It's that Viking blood. We won't get into the details, but it's not good.
Now, Robert Johnson, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not. He is the legendary bluesman who supposedly sold his soul to the devil at a crossroads in exchange for his guitar chops. He died in 1938 at the age of 27 under very mysterious circumstances. And some people say it was poison because he got poisoned. But some people are like, well, maybe it was supernatural and like some ghosts came and got him. But Johnson's music later inspired Hendrix, Clapton, the whole pantheon of kind of like the boomer guitar gods. So if this was indeed a deal with the devil, it was quite a profitable deal. The story goes he was involved with a married woman whose husband was a bartender at this place that Johnson was playing at, and the guy didn't like it very much, so he poisoned this bottle that Robert Johnson was drinking from, and he died days later in horrible agony. It's a terrible way to pass away. Yeah,
Wow.
just nasty. An exception right off the bat for our second one here. I'm sure you've both heard of The Day the Music Died. So that's the
yeah.
the tragic plane incident involving Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and the Big Bopper. So the Big Bopper was
Not
just
the magazine Big Bopper.
not Bop magazine. No,
For all you 90s girls. Okay.
Joe actually has copies of Bop on his wall behind him. Do you see those?
I see Kirk Cameron pin up.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey, wait a minute. Now, the Big Bopper was 4 months into his 28th year, despite looking like he's like 68 years old. I mean, it was the 60s, so or the 50s, whenever it was. And he when he died on the plane crash. Now, fun fact about that is that a very young Waylon Jennings, like that guy, he was playing bass for Buddy Holly on that tour, and that was the guy who had the infamous tossing a coin for like, you're either gonna freeze on the bus or you're gonna be nice and warm on the plane. And he lost the coin toss, had to go on the bus, and then everybody on the plane died.
Damn.
Yeah. Now things got official in the swinging 60s, baby. Oh yeah. And that kaleidoscope of revolution, psychedelia, and questionable substances. This is when Brian Jones, the founder of the Rolling Stones, so he came up with the name, came up with like kind of the blues vibe that they were looking for. In 1969, he drowned in his own swimming pool, leaving behind an unshakable mystique and a warning label for fame's darker side. Now, rumors of foul play have always surrounded his passing, But ultimately, it cannot be forgotten that he had been, like, very recently to his passing away, he'd been kicked out of the Rolling Stones, and they were like, you've got a serious drug problem. And when Keith Richards is saying you've got a serious drug problem, then you know that your drug problem is like the Excalibur of drug problems.
Yeah.
Now, a few months later, Jimi Hendrix set his Stratocaster and the music world on fire.
Did you write that?
I did.
I know.
And that's so dumb. Oh, that's just so dumb. Anyway, so he set his Stratocaster and the music world on fire before departing at age 27. Poetic, painful, and I always don't like saying this kind of thing, but it really was, and we'll have more kind of references to this. It was totally in line with his character. Like, it doesn't, when you look at the trajectory that his life was following, it's really not a surprise that that's how things went. Janis Joplin sadly followed just months after that. Fierce and soulful right to the end. The very last song she ever recorded was Mercedes-Benz, which is like, do yourself a favor and listen to that if you haven't ever heard it before. There was a musician named Duke Christian who was murdered that year. And then the Lizard King himself, Jim Morrison, he closed out the fateful chapter, heading off to the great cosmic gig in the sky in 1971. So Jim Morrison's another one that's like, they did their last album. He moved to Paris, had a serious substance problem, and within a few months of moving there, he was dead. By that point, 1971, the 60s were over. Now, some people have said that, not just the decade itself, like mathematically, but that the consequences of the kind of spirit of the 60s had kicked in. I know that's a really cynical thing to say, but that's kind of what people are like. The summer of love was over. And fans were starting to notice a pattern before journalists gave it a name. So the 27 Club was brought up in print in the early 70s, probably 71. And it wasn't an official term. It was more like a nervous joke that was kind of whispered around and stuff. But it started showing up in like little magazines, Rolling Stone articles, and people discussing these deaths. Now, we're going to come back to that. I'm going to ask you guys what you think about this. But in a weird statistic, the 27 Club basically skipped the 80s.
Really?
Like, it's like, it just kind of, it did. I'm not saying people didn't die, obviously, but the
no
the
one
big
died
casualties,
for a whole decade.
Nobody died in the 80s. Not even my guinea pig. 1988 still, and his name was Guinea, if you guys can believe that. Now he's that's all right though. So he was not 27 either. He was like just a couple months old. Now, fast forward to 1993. So Seattle was brewing something huge that was ready to deliver the death blow to 80s metal in particular. So like, this has been a real sore spot for a lot of people. Grunge's first casualty was the immensely talented Mia Zapata, who was, this is kind of ghastly, she was raped and murdered by a fan right after a gig. Like, she played the gig, packed up her stuff, walking home, and this guy attacked her. And she was only 27. So that was 1993, right in downtown Seattle. Huge, big news in their local scene, but it was kind of overshadowed nationally and internationally because it was just a few months later that Kurt Cobain decided to take his own life. He was a mix of tragedy and flannel. I would say that Nirvana was pretty much the biggest band in the world at the time. And Cobain's honesty, tangled genius, and tortured sensitivity, made him the grunge generation's reluctant prophet. Now, when he died in 1994, again at the age of 27, the club, the finger club, that's not the right way to call that. The air quotes club is what I'm trying to say.
Better.
The club, quote unquote, went from an eerie coincidence to a full-on cultural phenomenon. Fans started poring over lyrics, conspiracy theories, and astrology charts, searching for meaning in the number itself. In the wake of Cobain, musicians Kristen Pfaff, and she was the bass player for Courtney Love's band Hole. So like right at the same time, basically. Blind Melon, the singer of Blind Melon, Shannon Hoon, he was just a few months past his 28th birthday. So he's an exception. And also Sublime's Bradley Nowell, who was also just 28. They all passed away. And as fans of the 90s, we know this. Like, the three of us will know what we're talking about here, but we could have people. Our friend Greg was born in 2004, so he was not around at the time, wouldn't really understand. But there was like, it's kind of like the 60s where I would suggest that there was an atmosphere of gloom and loss during the entire grunge chapter. So, for example, Temple of the Dog was this enormously influential project that combined members of Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Mother Love Bone, and Green River. This was all formed as a tribute to a singer named Andrew Wood, who he wasn't part of the 27 Club. He was only 24 when he passed away, but he'd overdosed on heroin. And not since the 60s had heavy drug use and the loss associated with that been such an integral part of pop culture. So it's like this band kind of formed to celebrate the person, but everybody's like, we're all like, there's just so many people, kind of like the late 60s, early 70s, where people like the Lane Staley from Alice in Chains succumbed shortly after that. And there was a lot of them. Things slowed down in the wake of the late 90s and early 2000s. That's when sort of the boy band takeover, it had happened before, but that's when like the Backstreet Boys started showing up, and there was like this distinct cultural shift. But there were two notable additions in the early 2000s that I didn't see on any of the 27 lists that I looked at, and they always kind of stuck out to me. The first one is 27-year-old Jonathan Brandis, who took his own life in 2003. And he wasn't a musician per se, but he was, any kid in the 80s and 90s knows who he was. And it just kind of came as a shocker to a lot of us. And then this one always gets me in the guts, just thinking about it, because he just had a brand new baby, and it always just kind of breaks my heart because of the sheer talent. But Heath Ledger was just 28 when he died in 2008. And it's like, buddy, you should have made, 50 more movies.
Yeah.
And just super, super sad. But for anyone following the infamy, the most notable casualty of the 2000s, I would suggest in the 27 Club, was Miss Amy Winehouse. So a vocal powerhouse who could channel Billie Holiday and just snap your heart in two in the same breath. Her death cemented the 27 Club in modern lore, and a bittersweet roll call of talent too vast for the world to hold. She, again, if you were following her career, and I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful, but kind of like Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison, it didn't come as a surprise that that's how things went when you were sort of watching her passing out on stage. Yeah, sad.
Now the final, thought it was just a matter of when with her.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Like, and that seems to be the case for a lot of these people. That's what I was saying earlier in the beginning, when it's like, it's mysterious, but a lot of it was very self-inflicted. The final sad entry on this list so far is the immensely talented Kim Jong-hyun. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. So he was sort of the face of this just South Korean supergroup called SHINee. Now, K-pop's current global super status, it's like the K-pop Demon Hunters. It is just taking over. It's incredible. And like, there's been so many groups that have come up in the last couple of years. All of these groups owe a lot to SHINee. And shockingly, he took his own life in 2017 at the age of 27. Now, I don't know why this one hits me a little differently, but like, for example, we were just talking about this. Jim Morrison was 27 years old. 1943 to 1971. Like, that was his kind of dates. And then with Jong-hyun, it's 1990 to 2017. Now, for some reason, this one with SHINee just feels so much more, like, so much younger. I can't really. Obviously, it's the same amount of time.
About it.
There's something very sad about it, isn't there?
Yeah.
So then, what's the deal with 27? Some say it's astrology, others call it numerology, and the rest of us might just call it terribly sad timing. Scientists, if you believe in science, have crunched the data and found no real statistical spike in musician deaths at that age. It's just that when the fallen are that famous, we remember the number. Now, the warm side of the legend is that to many, the truth is that the 27 Club, to a certain extent, isn't really about death. It's about life. So it's all about that wild, creative, heart on the sleeve, sing too loud, dance till sunrise kind of life that artists like Jimi Hendrix, Janis, Jim, Kurt, Amy gave us. Their legacies live far longer than their years, and their music still reminds us that beauty and chaos often come from the same place. So while I'm not joking about it, but while we're talking about the club and its tragic mystique, maybe the real takeaway is in Kurt Cobain's note. Some people have called it a suicide letter. There's a lot of differing theories on that final note. He quoted Neil Young in "It's better to burn out than to fade away." Maybe a nicer take on that would be burn bright, but don't burn out. Now, before I have a couple questions for you guys, but before we do, I just felt like talking about this now that I'm just kind of like a dad, and I'm like a middle-aged man. I'm like, oh, there's so much going on here. So there's a couple things that I had to kind of point out here. So in less than 10 years, like a span of less than 10 years, heavy drinking can leave your body in ruins, right? Like less than 10 years of really heavy drinking, and you're left totally susceptible to mouth, throat, and breast cancer, strokes, heart and liver disease, brain damage, and just general damage to your nervous system. So if someone's listening to this, if you're having a hard time with alcohol or any other substance, like talk to someone, talk to a family member, a friend, health professional. Just like go and talk to someone. Like don't if you're worried about it, do something about it. And like, you can stop, or you can get help if you want help, Number two, this is a bit of a hot take, but I just had to share it with you guys. So years ago, a good friend of mine, he was a musician down in Lethbridge. He did succumb, so he's passed away. He succumbed to his health problems, which were entirely associated with his substance abuse. So he was, like, I don't like the term druggy or junkie, but like he really struggled with substances. One of the things that he was an advocate for was legalizing all drugs, like everything, even the really dangerous ones. And obviously that stance was a little problematic. And a lot of people, especially after he passed away, were really quick to point out that his life was kind of a warning story, like a cautionary tale about drug use. But one of the last conversations we ever had, he explained it to me in a way that made a lot of sense. And I'm not saying that I agree with legalizing everything, but it gave me a lot to think about. So when you buy something like legal medication or alcohol, you can see the ingredients contained, you can see their potency, and sometimes you even have like instructions for safe consumption. And he stated many times that the biggest risk of using illegal street drugs is that you have no idea where it's made, like what's in it, what kind of conditions it was made under, if it's somebody's bathtub or whatever. And he said the biggest issue was potency. Like he has no idea. He buys something from someone in a parking lot. He has no idea what's in it. And it doesn't let people kind of keep an eye on how much they've taken. And at the very least, legalization, even with things as ruthlessly destructive as crystal meth, would give consumers a way to track how much they've had. So according to Randy, was his name, overdoses would be less frequent with controlled amounts and no surprise ingredients. So just something to think on. Like I know this isn't all about a legalization podcast, but I just have to kind of throw that out there. Now, the three of us are past 27, like Naomi. That was like 3 years ago for you. So you've made
barely.
it. You're in the clear.
I'm only
barely.
double that. It's fine.
But as I was saying earlier, that doesn't mean that we're out of harm's way.
No.
Because you guys might know this, you might not. There is also a 57 club.
What?
Do you guys know this? Okay. Yeah, I know, right? So the 57 Club, it includes icons such as Patrick Swayze, Humphrey Bogart, Norm Macdonald. Oh, come on.
Norm.
Kelly Preston, Charlie Murphy. I didn't even know he'd passed away.
Yeah.
So like, Charlie Murphy.
I was like, I'm not going to do it.
So he passed away, 57.
Oh.
John Entwistle, Gregory Hines, Curtis Mayfield, Wolfman Jack, Scatman John, Jacques Plant, and anyone in the States listening, he's the guy that was, the quote is something like he got tired of being hit in the face with hockey pucks. So he's like, I'm going to put a mask on. I'm just tired of getting hit in the face with slap shots. And probably most famously, and this is another one that I'm still like, no, he's not dead, but he is in fact, and he's been dead for quite a long time now, is Prince. Prince was also 57.
Right?
It's like, that's wild. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he's alive still, just hanging out, playing basketball with Charlie Murphy.
Aww.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hello, listeners. It has been such an experience doing this show for the last 5+ years, but it gets expensive. If you didn't know, there's a lot of costs that go into making a podcast. That's why we have our Patreon page, patreon.com/dope nostalgia. That's where you can go and subscribe, get all the extra details, bonus videos, and early podcast release for as little as $1 a month. Please subscribe today and help support one of your favorite podcasts.
Yo, this is Scotty G.
I'm DJ T.
I'm HB.
And
we
you're
on the-
listening to Dope Nostalgia Podcast. Oh,
Yeah, dope nostalgia. Y'all don't get it? Y'all got it now. And be dope, because it's nostalgeristic.
Go get that, go watch that, and do whatever you need to do. Dope nostalgia. Funk Bees, Funky Bunch, world famous Funky Bunch. There
we're
it
all
is.
famous Funky Bunch because testing the mic's a pleasure. Dope now
Jeez, booty.
nostalgia. Oh,
Hey Dope Nostalgia listeners, my name is Shalina. I'm the host of Everything 90s podcast. This is a show dedicated to folks who grew up in the 1990s, and in each episode, I take listeners on a nostalgic trip down 90s memory lane as I reminisce about the highs of that decade. Topics include TV shows, movies, toys, music, and every year I also do a special series called 90s versus 2000s. This is where people come on to battle it out and represent the two decades for a given category, and then the listeners vote on which decade they think won that category. So if this is a show that you are interested in checking out, it's available on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and you could also connect with me on Instagram at Everything 90s Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and looking forward to connecting with you.
There's just one, and there's no mistaking it one. No way of faking it one.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
There's just one taste for that real attraction one. For the satisfaction one. Just for the feeling. Just for the taste. What calorie? Just
All right, let's sample a bottle. And I'll make it two. One for you and one for me.
now we getting warm.
Diet Coke.
That's
I got some questions for you guys here. I know that's kind of sad.
I like that one.
So we just take turns at this. Like, Joe, if you want to go first, and then I'll ask Naomi the same question here. But as I alluded to earlier, why so slow in the 80s? Because like we were, little kids at the time, but we've also, we've seen some of the history in this. Drug culture was like at an all-time high in the 80s.
Right.
Like wild. But the 27 Club, for some reason, had this huge, big break. So Joe, like, why do you think that is?
I mean, because we see with the 60s, like, obviously, like, marijuana and, like, psychedelics were, like, a really big thing. But we hear a lot about, like, heroin, and I think that was just kind of like the next step. The 80s was a lot of it was cocaine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of, like...
candy dishes.
Yeah, right?
Everywhere.
So I don't know. I mean, the potency and things like that, but like it seems like that wasn't the case as harmful. But here's what I'm thinking. We talked about like the like the Summer of Love in the '60s, and that kind of coming to an end with Hendrix and Joplin being like, hey, like we're done. Like this is kind of, we're gonna, like they're gone. It's sad. We're moving on now. The kids born in that era, in those late '60s, going in through the '80s, they would have been passing that 27 club in that time frame. So,
like they would have informed the public.
The parents would have raised those kids. I mean, maybe it was like subconsciously in the back of their mind. Maybe it was like in the back of their mind being like, oh, this is what was going on during my time when I was, when I was young and free or whatever. And I'm having kids now. I want to make sure that these guys live past, their 30-year mark, right? Like this isn't, the 1400s where, oh, my kid is 12, yay, because I've lost 4 of them, right? Like already due to the potato famine or whatever, like, right? Oh,
that damn Wolverine took another one of my kids.
I got a paper cut. Oh, I'm dead. Shite. Shite.
That's it.
So yeah, like I would say it was just in the subconscious. And maybe it was a conscious decision too in some cases as well, right? Where they're just like actually thinking about like, I want to make sure that my kids live past that mark. Maybe? I don't know.
I think that's a very interesting theory. What do you think, Naomi?
I think that's very valid. What I was thinking is maybe they were just dying at 24, 25, 26, 28, and 29.
Oh.
Interesting thought. Like there was still as many deaths, but there was
possibly,
or they were at a different age.
They just didn't hit the mark.
A good point that cocaine was very prevalent, and cocaine was not. They probably weren't lacing it with fentanyl.
Well, I think back to that scene.
It probably wasn't being cut with screwed up stuff. It was probably pretty pure because I just watched Narcos, and I'm thinking like they were just shipping pure stuff from Colombia.
Maybe, but I also think back to that scene in American Psycho in the bathroom, where they're like, oh, this stuff is so weak, but I have a feeling if we do enough of it, right? Where it's just cut with like baking soda, right? Or whatever. But something non-lethal.
Something that's worse.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like it's actually bringing the potency down.
Mm-hmm.
So the 80s, saving lives, do cocaine.
The 80s.
Wait, don't do that.
I think drug awareness.
We need a disclaimer for this.
I'm so sorry.
There's a lot of drug references in this, but I think the idea of drug awareness, I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
But the casualties are interesting, isn't it? Because it's like there was all kinds of other things going on, and maybe the casualties, like Naomi said, are at different ages, right? Like people like, what's his name, Corey Feldman coming out years and years later being like, oh, this is all this horrible stuff that happened to me and Corey Haim. And I'm not saying that's the same as the 27 Club, but
he could have very well been part of that club.
Very open. Yeah, totally. It wouldn't have surprised anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And and then the people that you didn't think would be a part of it, like someone like Jonathan Brandis, that's always kind of stuck out to me. Yeah.
No, he was dealing with depression or something, I think.
I think he definitely was. I think he'd hit it really well. But his dad had a comment on the article that I was reading about, and he was like looking back, the signs of manic depression were there, and I wished I'd stepped in to help him out. But he was so successful, so it's like
that's the part that gets me because
he was in the Big Bopper too all the time.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about that, where it's like, oh, it's a 27 Club, and people are like, when they get to that age, it's like, oh, like I'm on the verge of 30. And for some reason, some people get stuck on that line, right? Whether like 30 or 40, whatever it is. And they're like, after this age, like it's done. Like life is, I might as well be gone. Right. But like some of these people were the most successful, popular people in the moment at the time. And I mean, fame and being rich and being famous are two different things, and you can be both. And I know that fame and popularity hit people in different ways, obviously. And I mean, like
some people don't have the support system.
Right.
Around them.
Right. Depending on at what age you gain that popularity, notoriety, and fame. But like that would not be my favorite thing, to be hounded all the time. Like I wouldn't, like being rich, sure, thanks, like that'd be fine. But like having a microphone shoved in my face every day, asking me the same questions over and over, that's not my wheelhouse. Like I don't care about that stuff, right? If it was the art or if it was the song, like, yeah, I'll talk to you about that. But like what I had for breakfast or like my Starbucks order, like I couldn't care less, right? And obviously like all of these people, it's throughout different eras, but yeah, that's hard. It's hard. And a lot of it you can see, like we're watching, I'm going through the list with you as you're talking about it. And we're talking about coping mechanisms and drugs and alcohol, things like that. And like, there's the odd plane crash or something where it's like totally kind of off the mark, right? But some of these things are avoidable, number one, but a lot of them are coping mechanisms or supposed coping mechanisms for things like anxiety, stress, whatever, right? Whatever you want to say it. And it would be interesting to see if there are less 27 Club members moving forward, only because of the awareness and the supports that are offered now.
Yeah. Statistically, it's slowed right down, right? Like it's huge. And there's so many that I didn't even talk about.
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't a question I threw out to you guys earlier, just to let you guys know what the questions were. But Naomi, why do you think that like there's a huge gap between the 90s and 2017, or sorry, 2011, where it was like so many cultural people were passing away, and then like the Backstreet Boys kind of hit, and there was like this massive positive change. All respect to or not the Backstreet Boys, or it was the Backstreet Boys. Sorry, I'm thinking of New Kids on the Block. The Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, it kind of ushered in this new era. Like, I have no doubt in my head that people like Justin Timberlake he's probably experimented with all kinds of things.
I'm sure they all have.
Ramen noodle hair.
But yeah, but like, why is it that none of these people, in your opinion, were like victims of this like drug culture kind of like, living hard, leaving a beautiful corpse, right? Like there's no Jim Morrison in the boy band world. Do you know what I mean?
It echoes. Well, there could have been. Some have come close. Of the three big boy bands, there's been a few that have struggled with substance issues and are now clean. They just got lucky, or they had supports in place, like I mentioned earlier. They had good, strong families. The New Kids on the Block come from like strong Irish families. Like, I shouldn't say they're all Irish. They're not, but like, there's like so many children in their families, and their parents took good care of them, and they went on the road with them. And, so they dabbled in stuff, right? They all the groups did. AJ and Nick had very bad drug problems from Backstreet, but they got through it. I think it's because they did have supports in place, and there's a bit of luck to it, but they also had each other, where a lot of these people who died were by themselves. Everyone was surrounding them were yes people. You never said no to them. But they'd be like, you've got your bros checking you on either side. Saying,
isn't that interesting? That's a very interesting point.
Get your shit together. Yeah.
Yeah. Because most of these guys, like Nirvana, were basically, a lot of people have actually said that, like, if like Nirvana were basically done, like when Kurt Cobain took his own life, like they really were. Like, same with the Doors and Amy Winehouse. She was like a solo act. So that's an interesting point. Okay, so Naomi, we'll go back to you on this one as well. So do you think that there is like a curse, or are we just kind of like seeing patterns where none exist?
This is, to me, an example of all pattern. Most people become famous in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s. So their stardom builds up. They become mega stars by their early 20s. They start having to deal with the people who don't say no to them, and excess, and having everything available. Then they start to lose control, or, become very unhappy with things in their lives, and they don't have that support system. And it just so happens, maybe their fame is starting to fade. Certain things are putting pressure on them, and it's just a coincidence that they're about the age of 27 when shit goes wrong.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
Like a certain amount of years in the industry,
Yeah.
it's going to make sense that there's going to be some bumps in the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Joe, what
what
do you
I
think? Is it a cursed number, or are we just kind of seeing patterns?
I don't know. I don't know. Like it's so like the patterns are it's crazy how many there are. But again, to Naomi's point, like we've got people like if we went back and looked through the numbers, especially again now in a more contemporary era, I think we would see those different age groups, you know, anywhere from 21 to 29, 30s, early 30s. I would wager in there. We might see those a little bit more now, especially even if it's like a little farther down the line. Instead of 27, we're looking at like early 30s, 31, 32. And again, just because of the awareness, but like, I mean, at a younger age, for sure, I believed in the 27 Club wholeheartedly. Like when my 27th year began, I was like, I'm watching this very closely. Right? Like my self-awareness. No, I'm not even joking. I'm not
And
like
the three of us are all musicians, so we have a special
right,
insight on all this.
100%.
Yeah,
And
right?
I'm not famous or anything, but like I also was very aware of that age, because like that's like, and I'm not like superstitious, but like man, that year I was definitely a little stitious. I right, like
Yeah.
I was paying very close attention to what was going on that year for me. So yeah, I don't believe in much, but I'll say that was one for sure. But
Yeah.
just quick shout out, only because his name hasn't been mentioned yet, and it's I think just like Kurt Cobain, one of my I don't know, it's not a regret. One of my greatest thoughts would be what his music would sound like today. Especially with like, if it was just him sitting down with an acoustic, the way he wrote songs, I wish I could see, and I wish everyone could have experienced that progression and just to kind of see what would happen. But as an actor, I would love, and I know Andrew, you're a big Star Wars fan, but
I'm a Star Wars guy.
I would love to give a huge shout out to Anton Yelchin, because everything I saw him in was like, he was phenomenal in everything I saw him in.
Yep.
And it was just a freak car accident thing, and it occurred, and it shocked everybody. And I wish this guy, like as he progressed through his career, I wish we would have had the opportunity to see that, because it's such a wasted talent. And I mean, I'm not saying it's like hoo-ah, like Al Pacino, but like we missed out on something there massively. So like to him and to his family, I wish he was still here, because that one is a big one for me. And like aside, like I saw him in the Star Trek stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I'm not, Star Trek is fine. It's great. Like I like Leonard Nimoy, and that William Shatner's Canadian, and that's great. But like, right, like, but like there was something about Anton Yelchin where he just brought something to that role, and again, everything else I saw him in was great. So it would have been nice to see that play out. That's the biggest regret with so many of these things, is like that missed opportunity to see how those artists would have evolved through the years. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, like their best stuff was their early stuff, but you never know, because there are moments, and I'm like, as an example, and I know like this is what is it? Hot take. I am a Metallica, like I enjoy Metallica, and I know that they're like this other like conglomerate thing, like they're like a whole thing now. But like Load and Reload were their best albums to me.
Oh, that is
Naomi just put her hands up. I know, but they are
waiting for someone to say that,
because as songwriters, that is when I felt they hit their stride, because everything else, yes, there was great songs, but it's like you'd go and you'd listen to a 5 or 6 minute song, and the way that they had like the breakdowns, and then they changed from one section to the next, everything was very much like da-da-da-da-da-da-bum. And then they would start like a new, there'd be like a new BPM, or there would be a new time signature, but they'd have to like stop it and then and I'm like, that's really janky. Like it's not smooth. It's not smart. It's just like, we're in the studio, we're going to stop it, and then we're going to do something else. And then we're going to stop it and then do something else. And it's like Load and Reload were so different, but I think as like lyrically, it was fantastic. Melodically, they hit some really interesting strides. And let's face it, like James and Kirk are great, and we had Jason Newsted in that era, and Jason Newsted was like supremely talented. Like his version when they let him sing "Creeping Death," it hit a different level. And Robert Trujillo has been amazing because I mean he is. And Lars sucks, but like let's focus on the songs, right? Like Lars is what he is, and Metallica wouldn't be the same without him, right?
They would not be the same without him, that's right.
Like it wouldn't be the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
if
that's
you don't
a
agree
tangent.
with our views, this is a highly controversial episode. If you don't agree with our views, you can call our hotline at 1-888-741-9192 and tell us to fuck off.
Hashtag don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Hashtag
we don't like
load rules.
Yeah. One of those things though, I do have to point, you hit an interesting thing. I don't Metallica, like I love Metallica when I was a kid. And I remember when Load came out and everybody was like losing it because like they had cut their hair, they were dressing differently, and it's like they're not 20 years old anymore. They're like 35, right? Let them progress a little bit. And their fans were like, no, we want this thing that they did at the very beginning of their career, and that's the only thing they're ever going to do, and that's that. Don't ever change a thing. And it's like, they don't want to do that. Like, these are the guys that gave you all this stuff you love, so just trust them, right? Like, let them evolve as musicians, right? It's ridiculous to think
Go along on the journey.
Go along on the journey. Like, don't insist that everything's like this time capsule. Like, the Black Album is probably their best, I would say. But if they tried to recreate that, they never would. But also, like guys like Kurt Cobain, were like, I am stuck in this. Like, I can't get. It would be really hard for him to have done basically anything else.
But this is the thing,
and that's what I'm saying. Like that's very stifling.
But with Kurt Cobain, 1994's Unplugged, like MTV Unplugged, that was the channel. That was his ability to move into a different era. Like, that's the part that really gets, so this is my Nirvana, and I might have mentioned it on this podcast before, but this is my Nirvana experience where the first Nirvana I ever listened to was the Unplugged album. Like, I got like a mixtape and it had the Unplugged album, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I listened to that post death of Kurt Cobain. So I went back and I'm like, oh, Nirvana is so good. Oh no, there's nothing else. Right? So then I went back, and of course I listened to all of the albums going back to Bleach. And everything's great. Like, I love Bleach. But like, that's, and to be fair, like, Nevermind is probably my least favorite of all of the Nirvana albums.
Oh, that's another hot take, Joe.
Well, is it? I don't know if that is.
No.
I don't know if that's a hot take. I think, but that Unplugged album,
But it's interesting that you're saying that as a post fan.
Yes.
I can understand that.
Those people who are usually like, like hipsters who are all like, I knew them when they weren't famous.
They were very famous.
The first albums were better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're coming at it from a different point of view.
I was Benjamin Buttoning the whole situation.
Yeah. It is, in my opinion, like as a big fan from before they, not before they got famous, but like from Nevermind on, I was on board. I think we were talking about this last time I was on the podcast, where the first song I ever learned was Come As You Are. And it's still the first song I teach to any guitar student.
Nice.
But yeah, there's something about them. I don't know. At that Nevermind, it came out, it was huge. But I would agree that Unplugged is probably their best album. And I would also suggest that between, like, this is another hot take, as we're giving out hot takes here. Everyone's just lining up for our opinions. But
the line is thick.
Sorry, Mike. There we go. The Eric Clapton Unplugged. I'm not the biggest Eric Clapton fan, but his Unplugged album is probably his best album. Yeah. And I would say Nirvana's Unplugged album is their best album. And I've never really heard any other Unplugged albums that
hit that way.
Enjoyed. Like, there was other ones that people were like, the Lenny Kravitz one, and the Bob Dylan one, and the Alice in Chains one, and even the Pearl Jam one. And it's like, meh. The Roots were great.
The Roots are always good, though.
Doesn't matter. And it's because it's them, right? Yeah. And it's somebody. That's not gonna think what it was. Okay, now I do have a question for the last for you guys here. Okay, if someone in their early 20s was like, rising, and we've all seen people like this in our own music communities, or even been a fan of watching someone. If you see someone prepping themselves to like live fast and die young, like there is that kind of mentality seems to hit around like 1920. What would your advice to that person be?
Well,
I guess, yeah. Or Naomi, do you want to go ahead and...
As musicians in the city, we've been seeing, you know, some people in their habits and struggles over the years. You know, there's been some drug prevalency for sure. I don't know if you definitely don't chastise them, because that never helps anybody, right? You kind of just have to say, I'm your friend, be there for them, say, hey, like, you know, the risks. Like, I'm not going to act like you're stupid and tell you what the risks are, but I'm your friend if you need to talk. I think that's all you can really do, is just be there for them, because you can't force anyone to do what they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of times an underlying issue that needs to be dealt with. So maybe try to help them with whatever that underlying issue is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Joe? If somebody was like, I'm all on this live fast, die young, you know.
So are they like, they're conscious of it in the moment? Or
they're
are they just
saying, well, it would be like you can see the pattern, like, because when you're in your early 20s, drinking to excess,
yeah,
you know, using drugs and even a really hectic performance schedule, like that alone, the exhaustion that you can feel after like my own personal record, it was 10 nights in a row, and at the end of that, like it took me like 2 months to properly recover from 10 nights in a row playing 3 60-minute sets. And I was like, when I got to the end of that, I was like, I'm never ever doing it again. And my voice, I don't think is ever really, I think I did like lifetime damage to my voice on that. And not that I'm some like whatever, but like it just, you know, and there's people that do that all the time. Right. Maybe not 3 hours, but
yeah, right. Yeah. Like that's a whole, I know that ball game too. And that's not my favorite in terms of like, cause you're just going to do it. And then I hate it when it feels like a job. Right.
Yeah.
So that's in speaking with that, like there's a couple ways I mean, obviously if I knew the person, that really would depend on the conversation I'm having with them. If they're not conscious of it, but they're like, everything's moving really fast and they're super artistic and they're gaining fame and popularity and all these things. And again, you're in your early to mid 20s at that point. There are a bunch of different mechanisms, obviously with drugs and alcohol and things like that. Like excess is one thing. To Naomi's point, if there's an underlying condition or underlying trauma, that's one thing, especially if I, as a friend, am aware of that. I would want to help out in any way I can if they were ready to broach that subject. Some people just aren't, right? Like it's not going to happen right away, regardless of any help and support, however you approach it, as you know, as sensitive as you can be within something like that. But my advice would be like, I mean, obviously if they're doing something artistic and they're loving it and it's creative and it's amazing, like you want to foster that in the most healthy way possible. But like, try to remind them like fame and popularity are the least important thing, because it just it literally doesn't matter at all. And if you're doing something, this is the way I always approach music. If I'm doing something, I'm only doing it for me, right? If I do it and there's an audience and people enjoy it, which I'm super thankful there has been, I'm really happy about that. But I'm not. I'm when I'm in the moment and I'm doing the show, I am obviously doing it for them, and I'm giving them a piece of myself, and I'm telling stories and anecdotes and interacting with them. But it's for me. Like I'm doing it because it's cathartic and it's healthy and I enjoy it. And I would be, even if I was in my basement by myself, I would be doing the same. That's my litmus test, right? I would still be doing the same thing. I'm writing these songs, I'm hanging out. There just happens to be people in front of me right now.
Well, writing is therapy.
It is.
Right?
Absolutely.
If you find yourself in a position where you're starting to do music or whatever performance you do that's not soul satisfying anymore, that you aren't doing for you, that's when you need to check yourself.
Because again, when it starts feeling like work, that's when you know you're on the wrong path, in my estimation. And I'm all for hard work. When it is time to work hard, there is a moment for that. But my dad always, I love my dad, and his advice was find something you love to do and make damn sure you get paid well for it. And that's what I've always done my entire life. The moment I worked in a restaurant for 10 years, the moment I stopped enjoying it, I stopped working at the restaurant and I went on to something else, right? I've been teaching for 12 years. I still love it to this day, right? And music has always been a part of my life. And there have been choices I've made where I've had opportunities to potentially go like work on a cruise ship or do something, and I'm like, no, thank you, because I knew I wouldn't be happy. And some people don't know that until they've done it, and they have to experience it, and we have to let them. And that's a whole other thing. The other advice I got from my parents was they said, drink if you want to, just obviously be careful. They kind of helped me out with that process in terms of alcohol. Have as much sex as you want, just be careful, and just don't do drugs. Right? And then, but that was the thing. It's just like, do that, don't do that, rock and roll. And I'm like, okay, I got you. Right? And that's how I've lived my life. And like, you can do those things and still be healthy. And the thing with drugs for me is I like full control of my brain at all times, and it bothers me when I don't have it. Right? And that's not to say that I haven't tried certain things, and they've never made me happy. And I'm just like, nope, that's not fun, because I like to have full access to whatever's going on up here.
Yeah. That's so true.
Musicians and creative are odd types. Like, I'll share something with you guys that's a little strange. I don't know if I've ever publicly shared this on a podcast before. Every time, including today, before I record, I have to go and brush my teeth, which is a really weird thing to do. Because like we're on digital, we're on Zoom right now. Like I could have total dragon breath, you guys would never know, but I have to brush my teeth, or it would nag at me the entire time, being like, what's that, whatever. And I do have some serious, like, whatever issues regarding things stemming from, like, it's a legit thing, but it also is a ridiculous little quirk that's like, someone had like this is nowhere near the same level, but someone under the pressure of like a Britney Spears or a Justin Bieber having a very highly publicized meltdown, like the pressure that these young people are under, like, and it's like, it's those things of like, I need this, and this. And if those things are taken care of, then I can be creative, I can be okay, I can feel safe. And it's amazing how destructive it is when like one thing is taken away, like personal control, personal autonomy. And that can range from like, you have to wear these clothes to like, you have to be this size. And that's usually on women. And I feel terrible with that. But like, it's all, I mean, for the most part, maybe outside of boy bands, it's always like, what do you look like? And, sorry, in boy bands, I mean, the guys get away with it outside of that. Like, I don't think anyone's, Jimi Hendrix was a style icon to a certain extent.
Oh, 100%.
His guitar playing is what people, this guitar playing is what people remember. And then someone like Amy Winehouse, people often are like, they're like, look at how terrible she looks. And it's like, nobody was kind of commenting in the same way, Yeah, so there's a lot of sexism there. There's a lot of racism, if we're being honest. Like
Amy Winehouse looked amazing.
She looked pretty rough in the last little while.
Well, yeah, but that's like,
so did.
She was a pretty girl. She just
was
wasn't
absolutely
taking care of herself. Yeah.
She was gorgeous in her prime. Like, and she was only 27.
Yeah.
But it also just, I don't know. There's something kind of weird about that her looks, kind of got scrutinized to a certain extent. Well,
every woman's looks get scrutinized.
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
industry.
And this is something that guys don't quite understand. I'm trying
ask
to
Neil Young or Tom Petty. Like, these are some of my favorite human beings, and their music is amazing. But it's like, I looked up to them, and I'm like you look at you open up the CD cover, the cassette cover, and you're like, these guys aren't going to be on the cover of, G magazine or GY, whatever it is.
GQ.
GQ, that's the one.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Like if there was, yeah, exactly, someone like
Right?
Phil Collins,
Oh.
not exactly the sex appeal of a Matthew McConaughey or a,
But he would
whatever.
melt your heart with that Tarzan soundtrack. Like, fuck, man. Oh, pardon my language. I'm so sorry.
What did I say?
Timestamp.
Phil Collins looks like he's about to like teach a class. Or
Hey,
he's.
I resemble that
lawyer
remark.
You do. He looks like he's about to do some hardcore paperwork, and then he's on stage.
What a nerd. Do. Sorry.
That's right.
But yeah, so last question for you guys, and I also didn't preface this one here. Last question is, and this going to go back to Naomi on this one. Out of all of the 27 Club, who sticks out to you in this?
Kurt
Cobain.
Probably, yeah. I think it's because I was at the age where I was like 15 when that happened, I think. 14, 15. Where like all my friends were loving Nirvana. And it was because I was seeing how it was affecting my friends. Seeing him die. You know? I wasn't into Nirvana, but my friends were.
That's what I'm talking about. So when I say they were the biggest band in the world, doesn't mean everybody liked them.
Right.
But it had an effect on you, even though you were not into this.
Yeah.
It's the only of all those people where I saw the effect it had on others.
Like to some people, Nirvana was Nickelback.
Ugh,
that's
another horrible thing to say.
That's not though.
Or a
You're
diss.
throwing out all these. That's okay.
I mean, Nickelback,
So, Joe,
love them or hate them, they're incredibly popular and successful.
I like
they
them.
are.
Right? I'm
I
just
like
saying,
them.
to some people, Nirvana was that that's the comparison because they wouldn't have liked them.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But they
Yeah.
couldn't argue how famous they were, right?
Mhm.
In the
Not a
27 Club,
fan.
who sticks out to you? Who sticks out to you, Joe?
So this is the thing. Like when we're looking at the heavies on this list, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Hendrix, obviously Kurt Cobain. We're looking at like drug overdose, heart failure, probably due to drug overdose, right? If we're being fair in terms of for Jim Morrison, or at least like damage from alcohol and drugs leading up to heart failure, like.
Yeah,
These
like
were-
Jimi Hendrix died of asphyxia.
Yeah.
But it was because
He choked on his own vomit,
he
right?
choked on his own vomit. Yeah.
So, I mean, like with Cobain, like he, depending on the conspiracy that you think about and buy into, like that was a choice that he made to do that. Which, and I mean, that might be harsh too, because obviously, like he had trauma, there was things going on in his brain, but like that one hits because like the other people were coping with things in a different way, but it was slow and I mean, Cobain was as well, right? But it was just like, boom, like I'm going to do this right now in this moment. Things like there's a couple others with, if there's a plane crash or a car crash or something, it's tragic. But I think it's more easily understood because obviously, we're assuming that the people in that moment didn't want that to happen.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. And there is a conspiracy theory that there was like a fight over a gun on the plane and the pilot was shot, and that's all been debunked. Like it's all been debunked. The Big Bopper was actually it's weird, man. His wife was pregnant when he died. And then this gets a little on the grim side, but his body, this conspiracy theory of this fight over a gun, and then the pilot being shot, it got to such a high point that the Big Bopper was exhumed, and the son that never got to meet his dad, and his mom had passed away, like opened the coffin before the doctors did like an autopsy, and actually got to see his father's like 50 or 60-year-old decayed corpse. I know that's really crazy, but he was like, wow, I look just like this guy. It's a crazy story, but it's totally true. Like his son, they exhumed his body. His son got to open up the coffin, take a look at him. They had an autopsy. They reburied the body. The autopsy proved that there was no gunshot wounds on the Big Bopper's body, that he was clearly killed in a plane crash, and it's like that looks a certain way that doctors can tell. But what a weird way to see your dad for the first time, right?
Oof.
Like, holy smokes, let's just open this coffin and look at like a 70-year-old corpse, right? And it was, like I said, 50, 60, I don't know what year it was, but it like decades later, you know, however long it was. Oof,
Like,
anyway,
were they just looking at bones?
Well, his body would have been pretty, I don't know what coffin decay looks like.
Did they
Kind of a morbid
embalm him
thing.
hardcore like
Did they what,
Lennon?
sorry?
Did they embalm him hardcore like Lennon?
A lot of bodies are.
I mean,
and
like
that's just the
Vladimir
thing is like
Lenin?
coffins are designed to be like, we're going to keep you looking good for a really long time. And,
Mm-hmm.
I know my dad, as a weird, grim thing, was like, don't just get a plywood box to bury me in, like nothing fancy, airtight, just let the bugs and everything just come in and like, you know, eat me up. And I'm like, okay, Dad, like that's super grim. But he does have a point. It's what a waste of money. You're just going to buy this really expensive box to put some compost inside and then bury under the ground where no one's ever going to see it again. Like it's a weird thing to spend money on. So
Well, some people even like just being buried under a tree now, or you know, plant a tree
Totally.
on top of
Yeah, I
it.
heard like
and
that.
That's a cool
the plant
idea.
thing, and then you're
yeah,
Mhm.
grim topic. But I think I have to. So are you saying then that Kurt Cobain was maybe your most on that, Joe? Or
Yeah, I know that's not like the most, interesting answer, but I think it's because of, and again, I'm using the word choice in like, we don't know exactly how that went down, but like, he decided it was time, and it didn't have to be, regardless of his drug history and everything else. And that's the part. And again, it's one of those things where it's partially selfish on my part, but like I wish everyone could have experienced what the art that could have came. I wish the guy could have been healthy, right, with his body and his mind. Like that would have been amazing, just to kind of see what was going on. So that one for me, and yeah, just the impact. Like to Naomi's point, like I was young when it happened. I was only 9 in '94. But it was a big part of my childhood, a big part of the influence of music for me. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I think I'd have to agree too, just because I think we're all the same age, and that was probably the biggest one. But I think people of an earlier generation would have been like, these cultural markers would have been maybe John Lennon being murdered, or like whatever. Like there would have been other people. I know I've used this before, but my wife and I were watching TV one time, and Miley Cyrus was on, and I was like, that's Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter, and she's like, that's Hannah Montana, and I'm like, we have a generational shift in how we perceive things here.
Yep. We're gonna see it from a different point of view.
One guy, of the 27, even though he was 28, he was barely 28. But Sublime. Kind of all sticks out to me, and one of the reasons that I think of this guy a lot is because even though my choice for the most impact would be Kurt Cobain for sure, but Bradley Nowell, when I first got into Sublime, like I think a lot of us, he had already passed away, and I was like, I just had a lot of complicated feelings listening to the music of someone. I'm like, we're never gonna hear another new one. We're never gonna hear another, And then you hear a song like What I Got, and there's just so many that are like so good, and you're like, this is it. This is all there ever will be. And our friend Kaylee Cardinal and I used to play this song from an album of his called Robin the Hood, and it's a weird song. Like I'll just say that. I'll play this out for you guys to listen to, but the lyrics, I feel, are like very much a not necessarily a suicide letter, but like my addictions are kind of running things. Just on a nice happy note. Jeez.
Go Jays.
Yeah, go Jays, go Blue Jays. And it's a really short song. It's only a minute and a half, and it's a weird song. Like the way let's just listen to the chord structure underneath, and you'll be like,
lying in my plastic bed thinking how things weren't so cool to me. My baby likes tissue pool, like lying naked in my bedroom, tied on the dinosaur tonight. It used to be so cool. Now I've got the needle and I can't shake, but I can't breathe. I take it away, but I want more and more. One day I'm gonna lose the war. Lying in my plastic bed, thinking how things weren't so cool to me. My baby likes tissue pool. I like lying naked in my bedroom, tying on the dinosaur tonight. It used to be so cool. Now I got the needle and I can shake, but I can't breathe. I take it away, but I want more and more. One day I'm gonna lose the war.
Yeah, that was Pool Shark by Sublime. Very early recording of theirs.
Yeah.
Wow. It just keeps modulating.
Try playing that song when you're like 20.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know how to do chords.
It definitely reminds me of it, like, for me as a songwriter at a certain age and time in my life, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just the weirdness of it. I'm like, yep, that's how I used to like approach that thing. That last line is haunting.
It goes through the whole song.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna lose the war.
Yeah, but like it really hit, like at the end you're like, oh, you know. In retrospect. And I guess, I mean, that's why people like they skim through lyrics, they do all that stuff because they're looking for, right? Like especially when we, you know, if it's, you know, if we're putting these people on a pedestal, when you lose your hero, you're looking for a reason, right? Like it's just, that's how you're going to grieve and cope with what's going on.
I just want to make a note to end the show too, in case anyone's listening and needs that kind of help or someone to talk to. Help is available. You can speak with somebody on the Suicide Crisis Helpline anywhere in Canada if you dial 988 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in English and French. Mental Health of America. As far as the U.S. goes, you can call 1-800-985-5990 or text Talk With Us to 66746.
Thank you for including that. Yeah. It's a heavy subject, right? So we got to, yeah.
Yeah. I remember doing a podcast with Quinn. I think it was like my second episode or something. We were doing Gin Blossoms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was heavy. That was heavy. I didn't realize how heavy it was.
It's horrible. Yeah. And there's so many people we didn't even talk about, like Nick Drake. Oh, man. There's just, yeah.
Oh,
well,
thank you guys. Thank you for leading that too, both of you. That was incredible information you guys did.
That covered all the feelings.
That was
super high happy.
Yeah, that was a whole rainbow of emotion.
That was a rainbow of emotion.
Before the end, before I actually don't record anymore, we should just say one more thing. Go up to the Jays. We love you. Go all the way. And
absolutely.
Do it, lady.
Do it, lady.
Do it, lady.
Want it all.
All of it. Sweet. I'll just stop recording.
Hit up our Instagram, dope_nostalgia. You like Twitter better? That's cool. Nostalgia dope. Or shoot us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work.